All right, so scroll down in your syllabus to technology and reading component. I'm going to read to you from here. It says, this course depends heavily on technology and on reading. You will read resources from the internet, participate in Facebook discussion boards, access information through a variety of electronic means, prepare YouTube presentations, check your email, and spend a significant amount of time on Facebook daily. You will read each week from the textbook or materials that I link or send, and so in addition to the 100 or so pages that you'll read formally for class, you will also be communicating with me almost entirely through text. You'll be reading entirely through text. You'll be communicating with the other members of your class entirely through text. So this is an extremely reading-heavy course by design. That's how online courses usually work. You have to read a lot or you have to watch a lot of videos, but either way you'll be spending a lot of time interacting in this way. So just prepare yourself for that, and know that you're going to be spending a significant amount of time, the exact same amount of time that you would spend inside of a classroom on EKU's campus, you'll be spending in front of this computer and in front of your text. So prepare yourself for that. A lot of people who haven't taken summer courses are a little bit overwhelmed by the amount of work that you have to do, but you're trying to squeeze a 16-week course into half of that amount of time, so it's necessarily heavy, right? The thing I want to talk most about at this last video is assignment descriptions. I want to basically get into the three main components of this course. The first main component is your everyday participation, and I grade that by your discussion board and main wall, what I'm calling chatter. This is how I define chatter. When you get on to our Facebook wall group and you see a video or you see a link or a comment that someone's posted and you have a comment about that, I want you to resist the urge to beginning that statement with, well, here's what I think, or here's what I believe, because although this course is very interested in what you already believe, it's also interested in what you're learning through reading things like Judith Herman's book. So before you think, well, I'm just going to comment with what I believe or what I already think is true, I challenge you, before you start to chatter, go back and reread your notes or reread the marginal comments you've left in Judith Herman's book, or reread like parts of the textbook and see what the text itself is trying to contribute to this conversation. So I'm asking you to bring the level of discourse, the level of chatter, up into more of a scholarly or scholastic or academic realm, rather than the normal typical Facebook, which is, oh, here's what I think, so I'm going to write it down. It's hard to do a class like this on Facebook because we need to always be conscious that we're still in class, yet we're using this medium of Facebook that's so awesome to be able to talk to each other and share your feelings in the moment and almost have simultaneous chat going on with people who are online at the same time. So that's fun, but at the same time I want you to sort of resist the urge to just let the conversation dwindle into, well, when I was a kid, or when I had that experience, or when my mom did that, or when my brother came back from the war. Resist those urges, and if you want to include those types of stories, make sure that you use the text to support what you're trying to say rather than just your own experiences. We're trying to blend those two things, scholarship and science, with what we already know about the world. So help me synthesize those two things by elevating the level of discussion and the level of chatter up to like a listserv or an academic scholarly conversation. Let me check our time. Okay. So I say most of that here in the Facebook discussion board chatter. Here's what I say. Mondays through Wednesdays, so Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays of the week, you will participate in discussion board on Facebook by chiming in with your comments, concerns, questions, reactions, responses, etc. These are informal, friendly discussions like the ones you would have in a lecture classroom, a place where students should feel free to say what they want as long as it's respectful, thoughtful, and moves the conversation about gender forward into new and unexplored territories. This can mean a variety of things to each person in the course, as we have all come from different gender histories. To prepare you for these discussion boards, you should read all or part of the material. Stop in, so take a break and browse our wall and see what people are already saying, and then go back and finish reading or re-skimming or rereading the materials. And that should happen Monday through Wednesday. All through that time period, you should be reading, coming back, chiming in, going back and looking again, chiming in, taking some notes, thinking about what theme you're thinking about, and then coming back and chiming in with those thoughts on both the wall and the discussion board. You should stop in and add your thoughts to the wall more than one time each week. Rather, you should stay active on the walls and help others to examine their own topics or questions by constantly referring back to the text and back to your own independent research. So if like someone in the class chimes in on a topic that you find interesting, but they're coming at it from slightly a different angle, maybe you guys could have a conversation either in private chat or wall to wall or on the discussion board itself, back and forth, so that you can both help each other elevate your thoughts on that topic. and it's quite possible that several of you will choose the same theme, so you might be able to help each other move in better directions that way. You should avoid making lots of statements that begin with "I believe," and it should instead challenge yourself to ask questions of the text that apply, and then to apply the text's ideas to your own field of study, to your experiences, or to your observations. You should feel free on the main Facebook wall to post links to videos and websites that you've been looking at so you can share your research with the members of the class, and other members can comment on that research or watch the video that you posted or watch the music video that you're examining or whatever. If you post something, you should always contextualize it by telling us why you're posting it. So don't just post a random link on the wall and expect us all to automatically understand. You should say, you know, in my theme exploration of rapeability, this is the video that sort of made it all click for me. What do you guys think? Those of you who are studying safety, can you kind of chime in on how this video speaks to the notion of safety? So then you can start combining ideas and really starting to get a really deep look into what you're talking about. And I think that can be a lot of fun and very helpful, as long as we don't let the conversation disintegrate into, "I love that song," or, "Well, here's what I think about that. I don't like Shelley Wright because she's this," or whatever. We don't need that kind of banter, because that's the kind of banter you have outside while you're smoking a cigarette in a smoking booth. The kind of banter we need is the kind that really investigates ideas, and if you have a moment where you're thinking, "Oh, we talked about that in sociology last semester," or "My history class brought that exact point up from the 1850s, bring that kind of information in, right? I'll be sort of policing the wall in the first 2 or 3 weeks to make sure that we're elevating the level of conversation and we're not allowing it to disintegrate into personal smoker's booth talk, right? So I'll try to do that in a really nice, polite way rather than being like, "What the hell," right? I'll try to do that in a really kind of professional way, but sometimes I might just be like, "Why are you telling us this?" Right? Does this make sense in this context, or is this sort of just something that you're bringing out of, why are you bringing it in? And it could be that you're bringing it in for a very valid reason, but you need to articulate that. And that's what I'm trying to help you do, is to learn to articulate why, what are the connections, how does this apply, and those types of things. All right, so the very last thing, let's go ahead and go down. You guys can read the rest of that on your own, but I want to get to the end of the week Facebook events because they're very important. As I told you, in the last of the semester, you're going to be choosing, or in the first few weeks of the semester, you're going to be choosing a theme that you're going to follow through all of our readings and all of our conversations. And that theme is going to be the theme that you present some sort of paper on at the end of the semester. So at the end of the week, on Thursdays and Fridays, I'll open up events walls. You can click on the events tab at the top of the Facebook page to get to it. And these events walls are supposed to be like 500-word posts that help you move toward your final project. I'm sort of conceiving them as a way for you to really work through your thoughts. So let's say you take the topic of partner response or partner responsibility for your final topic, your final paper. Throughout the weeks 1 through 7, each week you're going to be reading Herman, you're going to be reading Dorothy Allison, you're going to be looking at poetry, you're going to be looking on websites, you're going to be conducting your own independent research. And throughout the weeks, you can use these 500-word end-of-the-week discussion board posts to really start to get your thoughts on paper and to start to push you toward some sort of thesis or some sort of general observation that you're trying to make, or some sort of area that you're trying to explore. So I really see these end-of-the-week discussions as sort of stopping points along the way to this larger project that you reach at the end of the semester. And we'll be posting more about that, and in week 2, when I actually post the assignment, I hope to have articulated everything that I'm kind of looking for you to do, and the way that I'm looking for you to struggle with the information in that very specific way. And so those are the 3 components. You've got Facebook chatter, which you do Monday through Wednesday. Remember to stop in at least once a day and sort of chime in on the different posts that are being posted up. You've got the discussion board, which is the academic banter where you're trying to really figure out what the text is saying, what does Judith Herman mean, what are the topics we're really trying to explore here, and then you've got that end of semester 7 to 10 page essay or a YouTube clip that you can post that will really start to investigate that theme in much greater detail and going outside of the confines of Dorothy Allison and Judith Herman. So that is a really quick and dirty 30-minute evaluation of what this class has in store for you. I urge you to reread the syllabus after you finish watching this video and start to post your comments or questions about how the semester will work on the general discussion board wall, so that if I need to, I can create another video and answer those kinds of questions. So it should be fun, it should be really educational, and I hope it's a life-changing experience for all of us. See you soon.